Blue by Joyce Moyer Hostetter. If you ask folks around here what they remember about the year 1944, a child might say, "That was the year my daddy went off to fight Hitler." A mother might look off towards Baker's Mountain and whisper that polio snatched up one of her young'un. And the Hickory Daily Record will say that my hometown gave birth to a miracle. If anyone knows about them things, it's me, Ann Faye Honeycutt for sure. But if you ask me what I remember, I will say it was the year I put on overalls and become the man of the house. It was the summer that Wisteria turned enemy on me, and I made best friends with a colored girl. It was the fall when Franklin D. Roosevelt was elected to his 4th term in office. I will say it was the time in my life when I learned that all of us is fragile as a mimosa blossom, but I also learned that it mostly hurts at first. Blue, earning its name from the blue wisteria that grows in Ann Faye's garden, the blue overalls her daddy gave her to become the man of the house, and just the overall feeling of this book has many themes, but a few that stand out are bravery, courageousness, and resiliency. No matter what life throws at Ann Faye, she puts on her daddy's overalls and handles it. After all, the first step is always the hardest. With her father in the army, 13-year-old Ann Faye Honeycutt has to look after the house, the large garden, her 2 young sisters, and also her mother, who is distraught at the death of her son from polio. Then Ann Faye gets polio herself. She is rushed to the emergency hospital where she begins her long struggle back to health. In the hospital, she befriends a colored girl, who happens to be in the bed next to her. Imogen teaches Ann Faye a little about God and that the painful treatments of polio mostly only hurt at first. This book has historical facts that occurred naturally in the story. There are details of the painful kidney packs used to treat polio, and also of the physiotherapy, and then the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Despite everything, this is not a completely sad book. This is because, just like the themes I mentioned earlier, Ann Faye is such a courageous and resilient young girl. The story is told by her in the first person and written just as she would speak, and this adds to the authenticity. The book also comes with a note and a detailed bibliography. This book is a wonderful tribute to all those who fought the polio epidemic of 1944 and a great read. Joyce Moyer Hostetter really captures the reader, and before you know it, it is like you are there with the characters living out the story yourself. Blue has won the International Reading Association Children's Book Award, the NC Juvenile Literature Award, and the Parents' Choice Silver Honor Award. This is no surprise, as Blue has many characteristics of a well-written book, such as well-defined characters, a great plot, a clear point of view, and it is very believable as it was based off true events.